You got to change your position so that you can increase your productivity. And this is always very important for me because this is what I know to be true. People always say to me, how are you able to write all these books? How are you able to do podcasts as much time as you've done it? How is it that your influence continues to grow? And it's because I continue to change my position and increase my productivity. I'm always auditing my life. I'm always auditing my mind. I'm always auditing my relationships. I'm always auditing my time. I'm always auditing my productivity. I'm always auditing my results. I'm always auditing my frameworks, my blueprints, my strategies. I'm auditing everything because I want to be the best in the world at what I do. And this is what I know, that in order to be the best in the world at what you do, you got to eliminate every threat to excellence in your life. Write that down. You got to, if you want to be the best in the world at what you do, you got to eliminate every threat to excellence in your life. And those that know me best will tell you that I believe in excellence. It is the standard in everything that I do. I don't tolerate mediocrity. I don't like mediocrity around me. I don't like any conversation that breeds mediocrity. I don't like sloppiness. I don't like half done work. I don't like half hard commitment. I believe in excellence. But in order to do that, you have to continually sharpen your edge. There are things that you constantly got to trim out of your life to transform your life. Write that down. There are things that you constantly have to trim out of your life to transform your life. And some of us, we've been living the same life for 30 years. Every year is like just a repeat. It's on a loop going over and over. Nothing is changing. You haven't changed. Nothing about your life has changed. Nothing about the direction of your life has changed. You're just content. And you're going to continue to be crippled and robbed of the life that you've been born for if you don't make some pivots in your life. More importantly, hitting the reset button on your life is about addressing what is fragmented about your life so that you can live fulfilled. So many of us are okay with a fragmented life. And I always tell people fragmentation is not freedom. We can give ourselves this false hope. We can live behind this facade, but fragmentation is not freedom. And a lot of people have settled for that as a reality in their lives. But hitting the reset button in your life is about doing the work to address what is broken in your life. Now, this is what I want you to do. Over the next 7 days in your breakthrough journal, I want you to write this question: what is broken about my life? And I don't want a one or two word answer. I want you to go deep into this. What is broken about my life? You got to address that, because if you don't deal with what's broken about your life, that's what's going to bankrupt your life. And in this age of social media and vanity metrics and highlight reels, it's easy to give people this false perception of perfection in our lives when we are internally broken and bleeding and hemorrhaging and in desperate need of healing while we're painting this different picture to others. I always tell people, don't let anything come out of your mouth that you're not willing to model with your life. Everything that I say out of my life is tried. Every book I write is tried. Every mentoring conversation I have is tried. Every keynote presentation I give is tried. Why? Because if the author does not marry and live the message, the author is a hypocrite. And what we have is people with cute quotes and inspirational slogans all across the internet and around the world. And we're saying all the right things, but behind the scenes and closed doors, we're not living what we preach. And we're selling people a false message. And so we got to address those broken places in our lives so that they don't rob us of the life that we've been born to live. Many people have looked at hitting the reset button all wrong. They think that resetting their lives means starting over. However, that's not the case at all. I talked in the last episode about years ago, I had, of course, a different iPad and it stopped working. And I had done everything I could. And so I called Apple support to try to get help. And they tried to walk me through it and nothing was working. And finally, the technician said to me, Jamel, we're going to have to reset this device. And they walked me through the procedures and we reset it and it came back up and it was like a new tablet. I had to input everything again. I had to re-download the applications and it was amazing. It worked just like brand new. And That's what I don't want us to confuse this with. Resetting is not just about starting over, but resetting is about being willing to show up differently. Write that down. Resetting your life is about being willing to show up differently. See, you're not in competition with anybody else. You are in competition with the last version of yourself to become the next best version of yourself. And so for me, showing up differently, see, a lot of us cannot be mission driven because we're misaligned. The law of alignment is one of the most powerful laws in the universe. And it is one of the reasons that more people are not advancing and going to the next level in their lives because you have to be aligned, not just aligned internally, but aligned spiritually, aligned emotionally, aligned psychologically, aligned economically, aligned relationally, aligned interpersonally, and I could go on about the dimensions of alignment, but you got to be aligned. And if even one of those things get off, it throws the process off and you have to start over. You have to begin to recalibrate your life once again. And, for me, showing up differently, a lot of times our attitude is the greatest enemy to our advancement. Our attitude is the very thing that is preventing the acceleration of our lives because we don't realize that if we bring that attitude into the next season, it's going to become an abortive tool of our future. And so we got to deal with these mindsets, these beliefs, these perceptions, these ideologies, these philosophies, these psychological constructs, these relational constellations that we know are not healthy, these spiritual defects in our lives that we need to address. There's so many things that have the potential and the power to throw your life out of alignment. And we got to be willing to address those things so that we can show up differently. Showing up differently is not about the appearance of change. Showing up differently is about the manifestation of change in our lives. It is realizing what no longer serves you. It is realizing that I've lowered my standard and I need to raise it in this area. It is realizing that my expectation is off and therefore my outcome is off. It's realizing that I've compromised my values in this area. And if I don't deal with my value system, this is going to become a threat to what I'm trying to build and create. And so you got to show up differently. The attitudes, the things that have the ability to throw you off course and to rob you of the future that you have been endeavoring to create. This is the things that we got to begin to work on. It's not enough to identify that something is not working in your life. Resetting your life is not just about at some point we must be willing to do the work to correct what is not working. That's what I want to say. It's not just identifying that something is not working in your life, but at some point you got to do the work to correct it. Because if you don't, that's going to always be the thing that cripples you and robs you of the change and the breakthroughs that you want to see in your life. And so resetting your life is not just about improving your productivity and performance. Resetting your life is about upgrading the operating system of your life. And the operating system of your life deals with your life strategies and your life plan. There are a lot of people that claim to be experts and specialists and to offer us all this insight in the world. And I'm not saying that they are not, but I believe that the thing that really separates me from other people is my ability to give people real solutions and strategies for their lives. And what I'm saying is that the operating of system of your life deals with your life strategies and your life plan. And I believe that the reason that God continues to allow me to serve and to be a voice of change in the world is because I'm offering people real solutions, not fluff, not some things that I Googled or asked AI to spill out for me, but I'm walking you through real lessons that I've had to learn in real time and apply to my life. And I've helped other people apply these lessons to their lives as well. If we were to look at your life right now, do you have a comprehensive life plan? Write that in your journal. Do I have a comprehensive life plan? In other words, do you know where you're going? Do you have direction? Do you have vision? Do you have